Here's your Kevin.
Hey, guys! It's Amber,
And Kristen.
and we have country, or he's not even country music. He's a musician artist, Jeremy Zeller, with us today. We're getting ready to bring him up.
If you have any questions or anything you would like to ask him, we will be bringing him on. So let's get him on the stage.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Welcome to Long Branch Talks.
Nice. So is this on live right now?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
Yes.
shoot, I should. Can I share it right
Yeah,
now, or are we just
absolutely.
are we just going right into it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't know that this was a live thing. Continue. Go on. I'm ready to talk. I'll
We
send a message to Amy, and she'll get it out.
Okay, sounds
Uh,
good. Yeah, we're live on all of
Facebook.
and it goes to our Spreaker, so it'll be
Yeah.
live on all of our
All the
other
podcasts.
podcast medias too.
So
awesome.
basically,
Okay.
visually, it's just on Facebook, but everything else is everywhere else.
Yeah. And then we'll
Nice.
share it to YouTube later as well. It'll be posted to YouTube.
All
Yeah.
right.
We found going live on YouTube doesn't really work that well for us.
Yeah, I don't know if it's us or if it's us. So
I'm still trying to figure it out too. I've had a YouTube channel since 2007.
yeah.
And so, or no, 2010, I suppose. And I've been back and forth with trying to figure that system out for so long. I haven't been able to give the kind of time needed to, consistently make good content.
Yeah.
So yeah.
With the flooding and stuff like that, we haven't hardly been here either.
Yeah, so
Unfortunately.
that's why everything's kind of like out of sorts. It's
Yeah.
kind of like walking back into it all new again.
I bet. So I saw a bunch of the pictures and stuff. Did everything, you guys back to normal and everything's okay?
Yes, everything's okay. We got up to I think it was like 22 inches inside the bar itself.
Okay.
So I mean, we were floating around in here quite literally, but yeah, everything as quick as it came up, it went right back down just as fast. So it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
But yeah, everything is good now, thank goodness.
Awesome.
So let's talk about you some. When did you start the music industry?
Well, I mean, I've been playing professionally since the year 2000. In some form or fashion, it's been some kind of a career of mine. There's been times where it's been full time, nothing but music. There's been other times where it's been kind of a secondary job, but it's always been a part of my career path since about 2000. Now, I started playing music when I was much younger. Started on a set of spoons, and then got a set of drums, and took off from there.
I haven't heard anybody say they played on spoons in such a long time. It is.
Yeah, that was my first instrument.
What instruments do you play?
I play the spoons. I play the drums. I play the guitar. I can make somebody believe I can play the keyboard. But no, primarily I'm a vocalist.
So what got you into, like, is it something that you've just always been interested in, or
Music?
yeah, music? Is that something you've always
I
been doing?
Yeah, I come from a really musical family. Bluegrass and gospel music is, what I was kind of raised on. And then, my whole family, we'd sit around, in the living room on Thanksgiving, and everybody circled up with, any kind of stringed instrument you could think of. And you know, 5 different harmonies going from all the cousins and sisters
Oh,
singing
wow.
along. So, yeah, my love for music is deep rooted because of that. You know, some of my happiest times as a kid was, you know, sitting next to my cousins, you know, watching Papa and all the uncles, you know, playing their music and listening to my mama and my mom and all their sisters, you know, singing. So, oh yeah, I love it's a special place for me. Music is.
Now you said that you did this full time at one point in your life. Did you go completely? I mean,
Was you traveling?
yeah, records, recording, all of that, or
Yeah, it's very similar to what I'm doing right now. Like I'm a musician and an artist. That's my full-time thing. I don't do anything but that.
yeah,
Um, you know, the times that when I was younger, you know, is a very different mindset than what I have now. You know, when I was younger, we were all, you know, I was in a band and we were trying to get a record deal and we were trying to, you know, play all the biggest shows, you know, that we could. Um, and we did a lot of that. Now I have a very different feeling about what I'm doing. I don't really care where I'm playing. You know, it's just more of, you know, I'm just open to the opportunities that is happening in my life. You know, I come from a unique perspective in that, you know, I was an autistic kid growing up in the church. And so my perspective of God was, and always has been, very grand. And so, because of my childhood and then taking that into now being a professional musician, um, over the course of those 25 years, you know, God has pretty much always been a part of what I do with my music. You know, I was
yeah.
a worship pastor for a while, and then was in, you know, several different bands. So music has been what I do for my life for the last 25 years.
So have you been to like Nashville? Have you done any kind of like um worked with any kind of like production recording studios? I don't know if
Oh
that's
yeah,
the proper way to say
yeah,
it.
man, yeah, many times over the last 25 years. Just recently, I guess Travis Wyrick is a buddy of mine in Nashville, or he's actually in Knoxville, but it might as well be Nashville. He does some stuff with Dolly Parton and 10 Years and a bunch of other, you know, awesome bands and musicians. And that was just in the last year. So,
Oh, that's
uh, and then before that, you know, with the bands I was with, yeah, well, I mean, we had 4 songs in the top 20 of the Christian rock market, you know. So, and we were traveling all over the country playing, you know, we played, I think, 46 of the 48 continental states we were in at one point. So, it's been a part of what I do, you know, even, and with now what I'm doing is I have kind of drawn it more locally. I'm focusing on Kentucky right now. I do play out and about still, you know, there's certain parts of the country that I'll take a tour and I'll go there and I'll come back, you know, a couple weeks out.
yeah.
But and I'm building up to actually be doing a lot more of that. But I have over the last 3 years specifically just focused on my life in Kentucky as a musician. And really, you know, not until these last 2 years really have I even been concerned about trying to get too far outside of here. I'm enjoying my family. You know, that's another thing. When I was younger, you know, I was just, you know, trying to get it, go, 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 go. And, you know, now my 3 kids are grown up and now, you know, I just had my first grandchild from my daughter, Allie.
Oh,
So,
congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. And so I'm enjoying being able to figure out a world where I'm able to continue to do what God's called me to do, which is share my story through music, um, while still being able to step back and enjoy, you know, an awesome day with my grandson in the sunshine, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's just a lot more intention about what I'm doing as I've started to do it over, because I've kind of started over in the last you know, 3-4 years. Was kind of my I don't even know what you would call it. It was just, I think I at that time really figured out a lot of stuff out about myself, and I
Well, have
was
you
very,
changed like genres? Is that what you're saying? Like you've gone or just music
I,
completely? Like did you step away for a little bit and then come back?
I stepped away from God is what I did.
Oh,
My journey, I went through a journey of addiction, and lost, my first marriage to a pretty bad situation. And, I really, really was in a very, very dark space in my life. This was before I had my autism diagnosis. I was going to therapy for it. But I had not officially accepted the diagnosis on myself. My therapists were saying, no, but you are, and I'm like, it can't be. So there was a good year where I was just trying to figure out if I actually was or not. And by the end of my therapy and my conversations, it was just evident to me that that is actually a pretty good explanation as to why my brain works the way that it does, and that I'm not really a broken man. I'm actually pretty special, I think. So, um,
Kristen
I was
knows.
about to say, because I have a daughter that's 9. She just turned 9, and I have been fighting and fighting to get her diagnosed because I know she's autistic. Like I just know it. And but she just started playing volleyball, and she is phenomenal. Like the coaches actually called me and was like, "Please let her come play." Uh,
nice.
and so they sent videos to the middle school. She's only in the 3rd grade. She plays with the 4th grade. And they said they had never seen a little kid that can play volleyball like her.
Yeah,
And she only practiced 3 times.
that's the cool thing about autism is that if you pay attention, then you really can find their gift. There's
And play
and
with her.
yeah, there's a lot of the autistic community that is nonverbal, and so there's a tremendous amount of therapy that has to go into just figuring out the language that you can communicate with.
It's such
um,
a large spectrum that I think
yeah,
that
absolutely.
even the like mental health, they don't really know how big that spectrum is because it moves so frequently. But I think
Yeah,
it's so unique because you say, that you're autistic and accepted your diagnosis and you love music and that's what you put your heart into. And you grew with it and enjoy it.
yeah, it's become a part of my everyday. I don't just play music on the weekends. I mean, I have a guitar in my hand at some point every day. But that's the way that I'm very intentional when it comes to my relationship with God. And it has become a part of that language that I use every day to communicate with him. My songs ultimately most times are about an experience that I had with God. And I'm finding, you asked if I had switched genres. I've never had a genre really that I was comfortable with. Even back in the day, they called us Christian rock, but we were playing bars just the same back then. And so, it was a tricky world to navigate then as a young man in a world where the church had no idea what a pedal board was on a guitar play and a guitar player. And so trying to get um, myself and my band figured out as to who we were back then is the same thing as I am in right now. I play bars and I play churches, I play recovery centers, and I play festivals. It's just I
You
play the
go
full game.
wherever the music takes
Yeah,
you. You're gonna.
yeah,
Well, and that's something though too. Any Christian will tell you that that's the people you need to reach are the people in the bars that aren't in the church. That's how
yeah,
you reach
yeah,
people. So I think
yeah.
that's really unique that you do that. Amy Michelle said you guys should come out to the A Day at the Park 2025 Autism Awareness Festival in Lawrenceburg.
Now
Oh yeah,
that's your Amy, right? It's
that's my baby right there. Yeah.
that's his
What is
Amy.
the
Yeah,
day
she's
of
so awesome, y'all. It's June 14th. It's a Saturday, and it's a day at the park. It's essentially a resource festival. It's it's to raise autism awareness in the state of Kentucky.
And
And
that's
so
phenomenal.
it's,
Yeah.
I love that because
There's not that much.
well, and so I know 1000% my daughter is high functioning. Like there's no doubt in my mind as her mother, and it was hard for me to accept because she's in the 3rd grade, reads at a kindergarten level, but she's above in math and everything else, and she can draw like no other. And
yeah,
now it's volleyball, and I have had to fight the schools all the way up till now, and finally they are giving her the extra help, like finally.
nice. Yeah.
So
It's there. You do have to fight for it, a lot
yeah,
of times. There's so few resources and now so many people needing them that it's the system is not built yet
it's broken.
to, yeah, well, it's never existed before.
Yeah.
The numbers in autism that we see now have never existed before, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been an exponential growth since, really since the 70s. And so, but a day at the park it's a resource event where we invite families that deal with autism on the daily. We invite them to come out and hang out with other people that are of and aware of the spectrum of life that we all deal with. And for those families that haven't even gotten started on their journey, we've got several organizations that will be there to receive questions and, point them in the right direction and get them started on their own journey.
I definitely need to go to that.
Yes, I think that's so. Are you going to be playing there, or are you setting up like a booth of some sort to talk about the autism?
So,
You just visit.
so this is our 3rd year. I've played each year. I'll be headlining this year. My friends have kind of told me it's time because I didn't the last 2 years, and and so they said no, this year you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll have a full band there, and we'll shut the thing down. But we've got a bunch of awesome musicians coming. We've got Joe Clark, we've got Wesley Saylor, we've got Unky Bones, Sad Black Lab, myself, Stephen Donahoe from Danville. But yeah, it's going to be it's a really cool day. This, like I said, this will be our 3rd year, and it's grown each year. And this year we expect a pretty cool crowd, and hopefully the weather's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Now I'm interested in that more than the music, unfortunately. But like when Amber brought you up, I went and listened to some of your music and stuff because, of course, we try to like look into like the smaller musicians that are big time, but they're like small town.
Yeah.
Because we love the small town. We don't. I mean, would it be awesome to interview Reba McEntire? Yes, but everybody's interviewed her. We like to talk to the people that have really busted their butts but stayed small town because
I didn't forget where they came from.
Like the people that don't forget where they come from.
Yeah.
And it's unique because you're talking about your personal experience, and to me especially, like that's so unique because you're very open about being autistic and on the spectrum and stuff, and your music and your love for music. So I think that's so unique as well.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm a Lawrenceburg guy. I was born in Kentucky, and then moved up to the suburbs of Chicago for about 7 years of my life, and then moved back down here when I was in high school, and I've been in Lawrenceburg ever since. And I consider this my hometown. Kentucky's. I'm absolutely honored, honestly, to be from Kentucky. Kentucky's just it's such a beautiful beautiful place to live. As much as I've traveled, being able to settle down here in Kentucky I'm grateful that my parents did.
Yeah.
So you were saying earlier that you recorded in Knoxville, and every time I guess I think of music, I always go straight to Nashville. Obviously there's other places that you can record in. What was it like for you going to Knoxville to record?
Knoxville was different for me because I know Travis. I've known him for 2 decades, so it was different. Whereas like when I was younger and recorded in Nashville, that was overwhelming. You walk into this big space and there's all this equipment that you've only dreamed of having. And, There's the acoustics are a work of art in and of themselves. And so I can still remember that when I was younger, being overwhelmed with that. But now it's, I guess, I've not, spent every day in a recording studio, but I've spent a lot of time in recording studios. And so it's actually one of my favorite environments to be. You learn so much about a producer or an engineer by their surroundings and their environment. You get to see little pieces of them in the way that they just simply display what they do before you even begin to make music. So,
Oh yeah, we've talked to others before that have like in Nashville, and they said the same thing that you did, that it was just very overwhelming because there's just so much
There's too
going
much
on.
going
Yeah,
on.
there's so much going on. So I was just wondering, like, if it was like that in Knoxville as well. Like in Nashville, it just seems like every corner.
It's so high speed. There's somebody singing on it literally constant everywhere.
Yeah, like
so that is the good thing that I liked about Travis. Travis he doesn't need the extra work. He's a high demand guy, but he is not. It doesn't feel like a Nashville studio when you walk into his studio. Like I said, it's almost like some of these guys. It's a living, breathing machine and a work of art. Their studios are. So that is a difference in the Knoxville versus Nashville scene. When you're in Nashville, you've got a lot of production houses that are just essentially warehouses that open themselves up to bands to come in and take over. You walk in, the board's already there. It's got all the equipment that you'd ever need. And it's almost like a factory that you walk into to record in some of the studios in Nashville. And then you've got
is the personal effect of things too.
That's what I meant by like keeping it a small town. Like
yeah.
just more personable, I guess, about your music.
Yeah, one of my favorite places to record is right here in Lawrenceburg, over at my best friend's house.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the way to go. I feel like. I mean, I don't know clearly how far because I'm not musical at all. Like I can't sing my way out of
like a Tweety Bird.
Worse than a bird, I promise. But I mean, because of my anxiety, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do like a recording studio like what's in Nashville or even Knoxville, maybe.
Yeah.
I just feel like that would be so overwhelming. Yeah.
It just, that's one of the things that I love about being more in a producer role. When I'm able to have a vocalist come into the booth that's never been in the booth before and be able to, keep them comfortable enough to know that, that moment is not so overwhelming that you can't be a part of it, and let that moment, instead of being scared and afraid, use that emotion to breathe into the art. And so that's, when I'm able to work with people in the studio that's never been in there before, musicians, vocalists, either one, there is a transition period of they walk in and you have to kind of guide them through the anxiety of all this new stuff.
So you do production too? You have your what is that?
He probably can't see it.
Okay, sorry, something popped up on our
button.
end. So you do production too?
I do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called Jay-Z Oxy Media, and that's just kind of the umbrella that I operate under. And part of what I do is I do direction, and I actually do the editing, and I'll do pretty much anything you need to do for a professionally done video of, I've done everything from weddings to music videos to mini documentaries. But yeah, it's just a whole part of my life that I enjoy doing. I don't really put it out there because I don't have the time to do it like it requires. But yeah, it is certainly, like, my music videos are some of my favorite things about my songs, because a lot of times, especially now, the songs that I'm writing, I already have a video in mind, and it kind of co-creates itself. But yeah, my ability to do that if I have to allows me to do it, with my own videos if I need to. So yes, I love to produce and direct and write and all that fun stuff.
So how long on an average, like, I mean, how does the writing part of it come? I mean, can you just sit down and write a song out like no other, or does it take you a while to actually get a song cranked out?
All of the above. There's times where there's times where you'll sit down and you'll be able to write a song completely, within a couple minutes. You already know what the song sounds like. It's kind of hand delivered in this beautiful little package from some beautiful muse somewhere. I don't know, it just happens. And
Yeah.
then there's other times where I've got songs right now that, well, just yesterday I was working on a song that I've been writing for at least 20 years. So it just depends. I'm some songwriters can sit down and pump out 150, 200 songs a year. I'm not that guy. I'm more of a poet than I am a songwriter a lot of times. So uh
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I just said. Between
yeah, it's an hour and 15
yeah.
year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, we have
uh
a special guest.
that's accurate. How are you doing?
Can you say hi?
This is our special little
Yeah.
co-host that joins us sometimes
He
when he
joins every
feels
now and then.
like crawling in here with us.
Nice. What's your name, bud?
Say Caleb.
Caleb. That's a strong name. Nice, bud. Well, you're a cutie.
Say thank you. He's my youngest.
Nice.
So he likes to join every now and then. He loves music too, though. He'll get up on the stage up here and dance his little heart out.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he
nice.
can't understand him what he's singing,
No.
but he'll sing. He'll sing
He'll sing
and
his little heart
dance.
out.
Yeah,
I
he
love it. That's a great stage for it too.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have any stage fear. It cracks me up. He'll get up on the stage down here at Long Branch and just dance in front of everybody, and I'm like, "Where?"
But he
like,
won't talk to the people.
No, he won't talk to them. So, what is your, like, you said you don't stick to a genre, but like, what is your favorite like things to sing, like, as far as like vocally and things?
Well, I've come to know my style of music as grunge gospel. I love grunge music. It's my favorite. I've
Mhm.
connected more with grunge music than the only thing I've connected with more was worship music. So it's like so I like to blend the two. My voice is it's got some growl in it, and I
I love
try
it.
to write music that highlights that part of it. So yeah, my genre is grunge gospel.
Well, and it takes like a special voice to do those types of genres as well, because there's people that have tried crossing into like country music and stuff, and I'm like, stay in your lane. Like, there's just a certain sound, and I love the old country sound.
I do too.
So when
Same.
the new country comes around, I'm like, where did you
I
come
think
from?
that's why I like the graspiness in your voice so much,
Mhm.
like the deep tone in it. Because the first time that you played down here, we had so many people afterwards saying, "Get him back, get him back!" Like, I love him, get him back, bring him back down here. So yeah, I love it.
Nice.
Well, and like you have, the growl in your voice, and we had Brandon Wayne on a few weeks ago, and he has like a whine in his voice, so he has that old country sound, and I just think that when you have a unique voice like that, it's unfortunate if you don't share it,
Yeah,
because I'm not sure, but I connect to music, so when you have that voice that just grabs you,
hmm
like, I love that. And your music definitely does that,
Thank
because
you.
it's so unique. It's not every day that you hear somebody that sounds like you. And that's hard to do anymore because there's so many people that just
Well, and I
get
think
on
it
there.
it goes back to what you were saying, before. God put you in this position. Like, this is clearly your calling. I feel like.
I feel that. I
Yeah.
really do. It's something that he confirms in me every day in some way. Um, God lets me know that, yeah, this is what you're doing, what I've called you to. Now just stay the course, because a lot of times, I want to get impatient and maybe push myself harder push me in the same ways that I used to as a young man when I had, this certain drive to be or to do these certain things. It's been more of a journey of myself trying to throttle myself from, trying to do too much at once, which is why it's been so beautiful, because I really have, this thing is in God's hands now.
Yeah, and I think he's put you right on the path to where,
That you
like you
belong.
said, there's something you do with music every single day, and I think that's wonderful because that's your passion.
Thank
And
you.
is that an electric guitar behind your head?
Yes, it's an electric bass guitar.
That's what I thought. I left the bass part out, but I was sitting here staring at it this whole time trying to figure out if it was or not.
Yeah, yeah, it's a semi-hollow body, but yeah.
Okay.
Paul Vaughn, does that say
Said, "Hey,
Vaughn?
brother."
Yeah, he said, "Hey, brother."
Hey, brother. Oh, PTV. I love that guy. He's a good one.
Does he sing as well, or just a friend?
He's a brother. He's a friend, and he's a friend and a brother.
Well, I call her my sister. I always
Yeah.
say, we were
Right?
separated. So we get that completely. We have, I always say, we always say we're peas, and then we have a best friend that's a carrot because she's a redhead. So
Peas and carrots is what they are.
yeah. So we get that completely, and it's hard to find people like that that you are that close to.
Yeah,
So
Paul's a special guy.
how big is your family? Like, do you like your immediate, your kids and your grandkids? How do they feel about your music lifestyle?
Oh, it's just dad being dad now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's just no, my kids are my best friends. Like, we're very close. So they love what I do. I have a very big extended family. I think last count we were like somewhere between 176 and 185 or something. I don't know,
Oh, wow.
of us cousins and aunts and uncles and all that. So that's the family that would get together on a Thanksgiving, back when I was a kid. That has grown quite a bit, but
Oh, yeah.
we've always had a big family. And
Nice.
so most of my family just sees me doing what I've always done. Before, I was doing it with a band, or I was doing it at a church, or I was doing it, for some other reason. But they've always seen me, in this world of music. Now it is different this time, because I'm not with a band, and I'm not, under the banner of a church or anything. I'm just Jeremy going out there trying to love people, So in that regard, my family supports me in any way that I would want them to, especially.
I see sharing a lot of your posts, and I think I've actually talked to her myself a couple of times on getting you booked here. So she seems to be very supportive with it
Who's
too.
that?
Amy.
Oh gosh, yes. Amy she is a godsend to me. I put out a song this past year called "The Night the Light Brought the Moon," and it's a song I wrote about the night that we met, the night she walked into my life. So yeah, she really is the answer to a pretty specific prayer that I put out, and God has honored me with her heart. She's a sweetheart.
That's awesome.
Does any of your kids or your grandkid or anybody in your family sing with you ever?
I wish that we in the car. Oh my gosh, we'll tear it down in the car, but my son just recently, well, I guess about 3 years ago now, maybe more, had just come up to me for the first time and really expressed a desire to play the guitar. And so over the last couple years, he and I have, sat down, and his stepdad, which is a good friend of mine, we're both musicians. And so, we were both trying to teach him how to play the guitar, but he's the closest one of the three of them that have shown any interest whatsoever about actually performing.
Do you find it hard to be able to sit down and teach somebody else that, like playing the guitar, playing any kind of instrument, really?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't do. I just to be honest, I don't. I'm not. I'm not the
I
teacher
can't.
guy.
I get
I
that's
frustrated.
My son. There's um, first of all, he has picked up on it so much quicker than I did. So with him, he's been more of an observer, and then I'll teach him chord structures, or Justin will teach him scales. There's certain things that we're doing to try to teach him, but for the most part, he's an observer and he just sits and he picks it out just like I did. So
well, that's
um,
good. I mean, it sounds like then he's on
He's a
well,
self-learner
yeah, he's well
or
on his
self-taught.
way to learn it too.
Yeah, he's a firefighter. He's not he doesn't have a desire to be on a stage singing a song, um but yeah, he seems to be starting to fall in love with the guitar a little bit, which is great.
That's good.
So
And yeah, I know like
guitar picking firefighter.
some of the other ones that we've had on here, they actually teach. They teach the musical part of it, whatever the
The
instruments or whatever.
insurance. I
But
couldn't.
Yeah.
no, there's no way I could.
If I was good enough, I would, but I am sufficient for me. and
think-
and I have a hard time playing with people that I've never played their music. Like some guys can just sit down and
Yeah.
I'm not. I need to know what chord are we in, what all that stuff. So
I'm not a teacher. If it comes to anything, I could be the best at it. If I have to teach you, I'm gonna get so frustrated if you don't pick it up. So I cannot teach. Like
now I
certain
love teaching. Like if I'm teaching you a subject that I like, if I'm
that I can
teaching
do.
you about Jesus,
Do that.
I love that. But no, the guitar specifically, now I have taught people how to sing. I've given vocal lessons several times, but I've the people that I've tried to give guitar lessons to, I feel like I confused them more than helped them. So,
Because it's something you get like your way instead of like
well, I taught myself. My mom taught me a couple chords, but other than that, it was just me watching her and my papa and my uncles and everybody else playing. I just tried to figure it out.
so
And
is music as something that is like comes down in your family, like there's other musicians in your family?
yeah,
Said
yeah.
earlier that his whole family was like they did that on a regular, right? You all got together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was several times. I mean, anytime there was a holiday, or a lot of times on a Sunday after church, everybody'd go over there and we'd circle up and just, play bluegrass or gospel music, and then watch football, and then go back to playing music, and then, go out and roast a pig and then come back. That's my childhood.
Yeah. Well, and I think, it sounds like music is kind of your calm place. Like that's what you do and enjoy. And I think that's something everybody can learn from because we all kind of need to do that one thing we enjoy no matter what it is.
I think it's amazing that you are able to like this is your career. It's not only something that you love to do, but
But
it's
you're good at it.
Yeah, you're good at it, and it's your career. Like you get to have a career at something you love and enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm blessed. It's not easy. I'm not yet at a position where, I'm living large, and that's not even really what I'm doing. But I am here recently, I've started a Patreon page, because if I'm going to record and do albums and do the video projects that I want to do, and, go out and play the shows that God's calling me to do, I do need to start getting support from a community to do that.
Right.
My shows at this point, they don't pay a ton of money, and a lot of what I do is for benefits or fundraisers or charity events. I'm putting myself out there as much as I can, trusting that God is aligning things to be able to take this message even further, once I have a community that sees what I'm doing and wants to be a part of it.
And that takes a lot to put yourself out there, especially when it's coming from like your music is coming from like your heart, and that's something that you believe so highly in. And the fact that you do it for fundraisers and things like that, that to me says a lot about your character.
And I think that's going to make you soar. Like I think
mm-hmm.
it's going to just, people's going to be knocking down your door trying to get you in for bookings. That's
Well, I
just
appreciate it.
really
It's
You have the
that.
voice. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm just waiting for God to put these pieces into place. I'm looking for somebody to represent me as a manager. But it also takes somebody that can understand what it is I'm trying to do.
Right.
Because yes, I'm a musician, but I'm also an actual artist. Like I sell art, like I create art and sell that.
Yeah, I didn't
There's
know
also a part of me that, you have to be familiar with this world that the church lives in, and then this world that the church does not live in. I walk that line right down the middle proudly, and I need to find somebody in that world that sees what I'm doing and understands it in such a way that they want to jump on board and do it together. And I've not found that yet.
Paul said, talk about the England tour in October. And then, of course, the day
Oh.
in the park, which we talked about.
I love it. Yeah, we talked about a day at the park
And
again,
I'm
June
so glad he put the
14th.
date as well, because I think that
I think
that's
that's a great
something.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that like touched my heart when you started talking about that, because as a mother, my daughter struggles in so many things. So to see you be successful and doing things you love, and that's like, I guess as a mom, it says so much to me, because you don't always get the good stories.
Yeah.
So, but he said to talk about the England tour in October.
Yeah, I'm going to be going over to the UK in October for 3 weeks, I think.
I'm jealous.
Oh, that's awesome. And I was going to
Yeah,
ask earlier if you'd been like out of the country or if you just stayed like in the United States, but I guess if you haven't, you're getting ready to go, huh?
right. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Canada, but I've not been to the UK. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my first trip like that. It's going to be my first time playing my music in that part of the world. I'm excited that you know they're going to be teaming me up with some local musicians. So I'm excited about it all. I think it's going to be a great opportunity
That's
for
awesome. I
me
think
to
that's
meet new
a
people.
very good
Um,
experience for you.
I'm excited. I'm
Would
excited
you,
about it.
I of course, this is the first we're hearing about it, but so excitement aside, do you worry about your music being accepted in other parts of the world,
Um,
or do you just kind of sing it
you
for the
know,
Lord and leave it?
I I don't know that I care
You
in
just
a
want
way
to
that in a
sing.
way that I I'm not I'm more anxious and excited about going over there and doing the work that God has me doing, which is sharing my story. It's meeting humanity where they're at. It's having conversations with somebody that's at a bar or, in an alley or, maybe they're at a park, maybe I run into them at the gas station. Like that's just part of how I live my life with this process. And so I look.
I think that's phenomenal that that's what you do. And I don't mean like you don't have the voice for it to be accepted in other parts of the world, but like just your music being accepted. Um, and I think it will be. I completely think it will be.
Yeah, I'm anxious. I am very anxious to hear what people do say about it. I love a good um uh constructive criticism, So like now when it comes to I don't know what would bother me anymore about my music. I've heard it all my whole life. I've heard people talk about my music and my art. So I've got a pretty thick skin when it comes to that. I'm more anxious in the conversations that I'll get to have. And, that's the one thing that not the one thing, but one of the things I do love about uh,
Spreading the
my
word.
style of songwriting is that I write songs to create conversations. Like
Mm-hmm.
I use language so that somebody will, look into the why or the how or the what of it all. And so
From a
I
deep
look forward to taking that perspective that I write with. I am looking forward to presenting that in a completely different land.
That's
So
what I mean. I know their music and stuff is a little bit different than it is here. But that's like Dustin Collins. He goes to, where is it, down south? That's a different country.
Belize,
and they love him down there. So it's like a different just atmosphere, I guess. So it's unique to watch how
and I
different
love
things are
hearing
accepted.
the stories like that because
Mhm.
you know we get to hear your music or music like yours or music like Dustin's
Mhm.
all the time, and it's really not any different to us. You know, it's just the music that we're used to. But when you go into other parts of the world like that and see the reaction that they have, that's
Mhm.
what I get excited about
Yeah, I do
because I'm
too.
just like, oh, that's awesome. You know, that. So I know you've got a show that you've got to get to here soon. So we will be wrapping it up quick. But I do have a couple of more questions for you. I want to go back to you said you're an artist too, not just a musician, but an actual artist. You actually draw, paint. What do you do there?
I do. Before we move on, I do want to say the UK tour is going to be with an organization called For the Love of Appalachia and
Okay, that's
KD
what you
Music.
said.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested in that, look up KD Music or For the Love of Appalachia. All right, so back to my art. Yeah, I love to do art. Art is therapy for me. It's like when my fingers hurt from playing the guitar, I'll do some art, to compensate. And so I love um, to paint pictures with paint, or I'm a multimedia guy, so it's like I'll use string or metal or dirt or wood. It's just whatever.
That's your
Yeah,
therapy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
sell your art projects? Do you sell those?
I do. I don't sell them often. I'm actually saving them for an art show that I'd like to do. I'm not super interested in selling a ton of art right now, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So
Yeah.
my art, the art that I haven't already sold or given away means so much to me because it was such a healing part. What I have decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some prints made of some of them, and just sell some prints at my shows and stuff.
That's awesome.
I
I
was
Um,
gonna
love
say.
I love to hear you say it was such a healing part of
Mhm.
you. Like you have taken again something that you love, but it's healed you. It's helped you along the way. I love that.
Thank you.
And I think that a lot of people could probably learn from that. I think that was going to be,
I
if
know I have. I've learned a whole lot listening to you just for the simple fact that a lot of the stuff you say is things that my 9-year-old daughter, like, she's obsessed with art. Like, you cannot tell that as a child that drew something. She's so good at it. So
Nice.
I feel like now that you said that, I'm like, maybe that's her
we
safe
need to
spot.
take
That's
her
her
to
therapy.
that thing that he's talking
That's
about
what
in
I was
Lawrenceburg.
saying.
Yeah.
I
I bet she would love that.
As long as we don't have a benefit ride,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think we should definitely do
Bring
that.
the ride there. We're looking for a motorcycle club that wants to be a part of it and do a ride. I
Well,
just don't know
we
who
are
to talk to.
part of. Well, you're talking to the perfect people. We are actually
Great.
we're a part of an organization called it's Kentucky Motorcycle Association. And
Okay.
we actually do a lot of things with that.
Now, it's not an MC or
No,
a
we're just
club
an
per se. It's
organization.
just an organization.
Yeah. That'd
More
be
of
great.
the political aspect of
Yeah,
things to
take
keep,
care of bikers.
yeah, keep riders safe and things like that.
But we do a lot of fundraisers
Yeah.
and things, and I have a feeling that our president would absolutely love to, represent that.
Oh,
Because we
please
do.
be in touch. Yeah, let's stay in touch about that. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That sounds like something that would be awesome to get involved in.
absolutely. And it touches a lot more than just me because there's, other parents that have children that are autistic and things. And if we can bring awareness to that, because I think it is so, so important. I've always said that because that's why it's so hard for kids to get help and then they get left behind.
Yeah.
Because of the No Child Left Behind now, the children that struggle, like my daughter, they're getting left behind because she's being pushed forward when she's not ready to go forward yet.
Yeah.
So I think that it touches way more than just me.
Oh yeah, I think that. Well, like you all said earlier when we were talking about it, there's such a wide spectrum there. I mean,
Yes.
it goes. It's so wide with that.
Yes, because you have like nonverbal, but then you also have like Asperger's and things like
Yeah,
that. Like
highly functional.
it's unreal just what they don't know yet. So I think it's so unique. I'm so glad that you all brought that up because that is definitely something I'll look into because I think it
Awesome.
would help my daughter a lot.
So, do you have, before we close, do you have any advice that if we have any up and coming artists or musicians or both, um, do you have any advice that you could give out to anybody that is listening?
If I'm talking to another artist,
Yeah.
I would say find you and be that. Don't don't try to create something that somebody else has already created and think that you can wear it the same. Um, look, take the time to look inside of yourself to find out exactly who it is that you want to be, and then
Mhm.
be that. Um, don't don't be so overwhelmed with the noise that you forget the sound that you're supposed to make.
Stay true to you.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Just be who God's made you to be and be it well.
Mhm.
As an artist, you can
Think that
figure
could
that
help
out,
anybody, not just an artist.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for coming on
Yes,
today.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And if you all are listening, he does have his Facebook page. You all can follow him on there, Jeremy Zeller. Is it Jeremy Zeller Musicians? Is there a musicians page, or is it just
So yeah, so there's three ways that you can stay in touch with me, and all three of them are great. In this order, I would say patreon.com/Jeremy Zeller. That's I'm getting ready to switch everything over to Patreon, so that's going to be kind of where everything's going to go to. But I also have a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Jeremy Zeller and the other side. I do kind of video journals and blog my story and stuff like that, along with all my music videos. And then, yeah, Facebook or Instagram, either one. I've got a Jeremy Zeller music and arts page that is kind of my music
I'll
and
just
my
put it?
arts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And if
perfect.
Paul
Thank
or
you,
Amy
Paul.
either would post those, that would be great for us.
Yeah,
So
just
that
put it
way
in
they're
the
in the
comments.
comments, and that'll
Yeah,
help people find you.
perfect. And also, I guess I do want to say this real quick. I'm really, really trying to plug into the church world. Um, I've been in and a part of it my whole life. And, when I stepped outside of it because I had my own addiction journey and, I had my own life journey, um, as I'm stepping back into it, a lot of churches that I'm having conversations with um, seem to be confused about, well, are you in the bar or are you in the church? And
Mm,
I'm looking for churches that can hear the message that I'm saying when I say I'm in both. That's
right.
where I'm at. And
Yeah.
I need for, churches to um, be as excited about this journey that the bars are, because
Well,
the
and that's
people that I get to hang out with in the bars um, are the same people that are hanging out in the churches. It's
yeah.
humanity can relate, is what I'm saying. And it's
Mhm.
like if I had one piece of advice to the church, it would be go out on a Friday or Saturday night. Don't think that you're going to catch alcoholism. Like go out there and just have
Yes.
fun with some people. Support a local artist. Go to an art show. Go to a concert. Go to see a local musician. Go to some teenagers are putting together some cool little garage band show. Go support it. And it's like the people that stay in the walls of the church almost feel like they're not able to go out there,
To
and
go
it's such a lie. It's such a lie.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to find churches that want to hear my testimony, churches that understand what I'm trying to do and want to put together a worship event or a recovery group that wants to hear somebody testify.
Well, we actually
Well,
have somebody
I was
else
about to
that we
say,
can put you in contact with.
yes, Tommy House.
Yes, normally he's watching, but he must be at work today because normally he does chime in with us. But
Yeah.
Tommy House, he does
He's
ride.
a preacher and he
Yes.
rides and he gets down on our level.
Yeah, so I bet
Awesome.
I
he
don't
would
mean down.
absolutely.
I don't mean down on our level. I mean like he tries to reach the broken, which is what to me Christianity has always been about. Is you reach to the bottom of the barrel and you help those climb up. Because the people in the church they've already found God. You want to find the people that have not yet. And
That's
Tommy
right.
does that.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
Tommy, when you're on here, yeah, Trish just tagged him in it. So yeah, we'll absolutely reach out to Tommy for you too, because I think that would be a great place
I
for
think
you
that
to
would be a good,
start.
yeah, because
Awesome. I appreciate it.
he does a blessing of the bikes for us as well.
Mhm.
So he's the type of preacher that wants to reach the bottom and help those that are lost or whatever to find the church.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him.
That's what you're trying to do. So
And he does a lot of his services outside. He
Yep.
does a lot of outside services. So yeah, I think that Tommy would be the perfect one to get you in contact with.
Mhm.
That sounds great.
So yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely send Tommy your way.
All righty.
All right.
Well,
thank
I've got to jump off here because I've got to hit the road. But I
Well,
really appreciate you guys.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having me.
on.
Well, we appreciate you
And
coming on with
maybe
us.
we can book you again after you get back from your tour over in the UK.
Overseas.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be
awesome.
great. Give me
Yeah.
a call before then. I'm not going till October, so I'd be happy to come back to Long Branch.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much,
Thank
Jeremy.
you, Jeremy.
All right. Thank y'all.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was Jeremy Zeller. And again, I think they have listed all of his social media sites that you can contact him in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was on YouTube. He does have the his Facebook page, which is the Jeremy Zeller
Musician.
Yes.
And they're tagging every bit of that because we did listen to music. We're not like we just didn't have him on, but her and I have so much going on that remembering something right now would be.
Yeah, and we're
It'd be
not the
fast.
greatest at popping up the little things like
No.
Danny used to do for
Danny
us
does
when
better.
you could comment right there and just pop it
Yeah.
up. We haven't gotten that high tech yet.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
They are in our comments.
I have a mouse in my hand. That's about as good as it gets. So
They are in our comments of all of
Yes.
his pages that you can. And listen, folks, if you can make it out to that event in Lawrenceburg,
I was getting ready to say June 14th, the autism. They said it was the A Day, Autism Awareness.
Mhm.
And it's where they get people together. They have music. They have booths to help you guide where your child needs
the
to go.
resources for yeah,
and
think that's great.
definitely plan on going because that's something that's so hard to find as a resource because like I said to Jeremy, I've been fighting for my daughter to get help for years because as a mom, it's hard to admit it, but I knew she needed the extra help. So
And when you, I mean, but you asked for it. It
Yes.
wasn't like you knew it and you didn't do anything.
Mhm.
You asked for it.
well, and that it brought a lot of tears and it was hard, but I think that it's so interesting and so just it reaches down in your soul because to watch him be so successful and just
Mhm.
doing what he loves.
That's
and
what I
stuff.
was gonna say. That's got to be like just a highlight right now for you
Yes.
because
Oh, absolutely.
he is such a talented musician
Mhm.
and an artist.
Well,
and talking about
and
how
you've
she
watched-
loves
You
to
watched
draw
me
and
break
stuff.
over her.
Yeah.
Like because I'm sorry, let me poke it. But I have actually like broke down because her reading level is so low and things like that, and it just as a mother that just eats you up. And to like have her bragged on so much for volleyball, and she loves it.
Oh, she was so excited.
Yes,
she
and
was so
she's so
excited.
good. Like they said, she'd only been to 2 practices. Then they had a game,
Mhm.
and they won all 3 of their games. And she played with the 4th graders. She's only in 3rd grade. She played with the 4th graders, and they said they had never seen a little girl as small as her that could keep the ball in the air.
And so, see, like listening to that, and then listening to Jeremy's story with his autism and what all he's accomplished. I mean, that's got to just.
Oh, it made my heart so
Yeah.
happy. Because
I don't want to say give you hope because that's not what
well,
the
and
words
it does
that I'm
though.
looking for.
It gives you like an inspiration that
Inspiration. There you go.
Because you don't have to, as a mom of a child that her biggest problem is reading. You have to read everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so to watch her do and love something, like her little faces in the pictures, just so cute. Because I don't think people realized how much that kind of stuff touches me because she's not the type of child that goes out and makes friends or wants to hang out with everybody. She's a loner.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to want to be a part of a team and to be like
that excited over
and
it.
to listen to the coach, that's one of my biggest fears was that she wouldn't understand or listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like they don't even have to teach her because she watches and learns.
Well, that's what he said.
Mhm.
He just kind of picks
Yep.
it up and And he does it from like his art. He does it from
It's
his
from his
heart.
soul. Yeah. And I think that's something, if anybody else is interested, I think it's so important. June 14th, Autism Awareness in Lawrenceburg at the park.
That is also listed in the
It's in the
comments
comments.
in there too,
Mhm.
guys. So make sure that, if that's something you're interested in, or if you just want to learn more, maybe you've got a family member or somebody close to you, you want to learn more information about it, I think that would be a really good place to start.
Yeah, I think it's very important to. Sorry, you all. Caleb keeps popping up, but I think it's important just as much as the music is, because parents that have a child with special needs, we all know how hard it is to get them the help.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two above her. Like I have one that takes AP classes, is in like FFA, and takes college courses, and she's a freshman. So it was a new world
Mm-hmm.
when I had to watch her struggle. And as a mom, you don't want to watch that. Like I
Right.
even had a hard time teaching her because I didn't want to watch her struggle. And I don't think teachers understand that. Like as a mom, it is so hard to watch your child struggle.
It is, but like I was saying with him, when I'd asked about him teaching the guitar, learning, teaching
Mhm.
his music and stuff. I'm not a teacher. I can sit down and say, okay, here, do this.
Mhm.
But if you want me to like show you, I just don't think that I could do that.
And if it's something I already know, I get frustrated if you don't pick it up the way I think you should.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't teach, because.
But how I learn is I have to do it myself.
Mhm.
Like you can tell me and tell me and tell me and tell
I
me.
have to physically do it.
I have to physically do it
Yep.
myself. So I feel like in my mind, I think everybody should be like that. And I know they're not. And so that I know that I would be a horrible teacher.
Well,
with that.
and we say that, but it's so funny because you and I bounce stuff off each other all the time. So I think it's more mentally, like your mental capacity, because you and I learn the same exact way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's different if you're teaching somebody that learns by you telling them instead of watching, because I have to physically do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me 1,000 times, like somebody said that I didn't know the roads in Nelson County very well, and they're like, well, y'all ride them all the time on motorcycles, and I'm like, but I don't.
Right.
I'm taking pictures.
Passenger.
Yeah, I don't pay attention. So if I'm not physically doing it, I'm not gonna remember.
Yeah, I don't pay attention. Yeah, that's me.
But yeah, make sure you all go follow Jeremy's pages, because I think it is so important.
And I didn't know that he was an actual artist. I think that's amazing.
Yes,
I can't wait to see some of his stuff.
And him saying that as well, because Brianna, she'll go sit in her room and draw.
Yeah,
and her drawings are amazing for her age. And so to hear him say that, I'm like, maybe she's doing that because that's like
that's
calm.
That's what he said. That's what brought him peace. That was what brought him healing. So I can't wait to see some of his projects and some of the art stuff that he's done. This is exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, follow his pages. Like support him. He's a local artist that is trying to do big things, and
he's out there helping the community. I mean,
yes.
This is he said it himself. He does a lot of benefits and he does a lot of fundraisers.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, when you do benefits and fundraisers,
you don't make money.
You don't get paid for that.
And the fact that he does that, and the fact that he's so excited about headlining the Autism Awareness on June 14th. And like we said, that is all in the comments. Make sure you go and look at these comments, because we really want to get.
We really need to learn how to do what Danny does and post it right there.
Well, I can, but I have to make them a banner, so I have to go in there and do it. So, which we didn't do in time because I was a little bit late today.
Imagine that.
No surprise. But there was a lot of stuff that was talked about today. Like, he wanted to reach a preacher that believes like him, and Tommy House. Please get with Jeremy. Because I think
that's a great start.
That would be a perfect
I think Tommy
partnership.
Would be great for you.
Yes. I think that partnership would be phenomenal. But just make sure that you all follow him. And if you are interested in anything to do with autism awareness, make sure that you go and look all that up, because I didn't know about it.
I didn't either until he was talking about that. That's why I was so excited, because he was like, I just want to tell my story. I just want to, share my life. And I was like, I saw him at face value,
Uh-huh.
because he's been down here obviously, a few times to play. So
Yeah.
I've heard him and I thought, oh, he's great. He's a great musician. Yeah, sure. I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah.
But to hear this aspect of him also, to hear this other side of him,
Mhm.
that was amazing for me to listen to also.
Yeah. Well, and I think for anybody, getting to know an artist personally, because not only does he create art with
His
materials,
hands.
but he also creates it vocally,
Yeah.
and he has talent. Like I have a hard time sitting and listening to certain people, and if you can sing live and get my attention, you've got a fan,
Hmm.
because I connect so deeply to
Oh,
music.
his voice is just,
It's so
he's got an
unique. I love
amazing
it.
voice.
And that's like I was saying, Brandon Wayne. He has that whine in his voice, and I
Hmm.
even told him that day. I was like, "You have that old country whine in your voice," and I said, "And I'm saying that as a compliment. Like I love
Because you
that."
don't hear that stuff
No,
anymore.
and it's not from the heart anymore. I feel like they have people write their music, and it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see the homegrown like talent, like just sticking to his roots, but he's also getting out there
I
and
love that.
spreading the word. And I I walked away from Christianity, but I still consider myself one. And so to hear him talk like that, it's like, my gosh, like these are the places he needs to be, because there is so many lost people.
Well, and to hear his music, that's who needs to hear his music.
Yes.
That's who needs to hear his story. I
And
feel
it's
like
unfortunate that that
a lot of
people,
churches feel differently.
yeah.
I think they're missing out on a lot of stuff.
Justin said that I learned how to do concrete on my own.
Self-taught concreter. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want her to concrete anything.
I did really
of
good.
mine.
Like the people loved it. I mean, it looked really good. But thankfully the guy in the concrete truck got out though to help him like pack it down. Like I just made it pretty, because I was like, that's like, it was like a 50-foot or 50-yard sidewalk. It was huge. And then they needed a little bitty one to go to their pool.
Yeah.
So I did the little one by myself. But it turned out really good. I was so proud of myself, because I mean, that's how I learn.
Well, there you go, folks.
So
Call Kristen for some concrete
don't call me
work.
for concrete. Call Justin, Next Gen Construction. You can call him.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in with us today and listening to Jeremy. Again, make sure you're checking those comments. Mark it on your calendar. What was the date for that?
June 14th.
June 14th. That's
Mhm.
the Autism Awareness in Lawrenceburg.
Yes.
Tommy House, if you hear us, see us today, please reach out and we will talk to you. We will talk to you
We'll
later
get you and
about
Jeremy
that.
connected.
Yes, because I think that's a great combination there.
Yes.
Like always, follow us on all of our social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
You can't miss us.
Yeah, Long
Just
Branch
find the
Talks
blonde and the brunette.
under everything. We're there, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and tune in next week.
Thank y'all.